Hi everyone. Today let us see about the guidelines for preparation of ME M.Tech Phase 1 report and Phase 2 thesis. So in generally the report has to be in an organized fashion and also it should be the original research work of the student that it should lead to the discovery of new facts or techniques or correlation of facts that is already known. It may be analytical, experimental or hardware oriented, etc. And also it should demonstrate the quality so that a definite contribution to the advancement of knowledge can be obtained from that particular report or project work. And also it should be in such a way it should show the students ability to undertake the sustained research work, and also the findings should be in such a way it should be in an appropriate manner and also with actual accomplishments, so it will be honestly appraised, the students will be honestly appraised. So there are many doubts arises when preparing the project work. I think some of the doubts can be clarified in this video. So first, a number of copies to be submitted for evaluation. And MEM.Tech, whether it may be phase 1 report or phase 2 thesis, 3 copies has to be submitted. That is, 1 copy the student may have, 1 to supervisor and 1 to department library, and it may vary according to colleges. And size of report or thesis, the size of report is it should not be less than 25 pages. If it is phase 1 report, it should not be less than 25 pages, and also it should not be less than 40 pages if it is phase 2 thesis. So accordingly you have to prepare the report. It may cover from chapter 1 to last page of the appendix. Then arrangement of contents of report thesis, of the report or thesis, that is, arrangement is very important. First you have to give more importance to your cover page. As you know, phase is the best impression, that is, first impression is best impression. Your cover page will lead to get a good mark. So your title should be in an appropriate manner, and also the cover page is the same for the title page. So next you have to keep the bona fide certificate, then abstract, both Tamil and English you have to keep abstract, then acknowledgement, table of content, list of tables, list of figures, list of symbols, abbreviations, nomenclature, that part you have to keep. Then chapters, number of chapters you are going to keep, you have to arrange in the content, appendixes, references. A table and figures can be introduced in appropriate places. Then about the page dimension. Page dimension for A4 size, you have to arrange your paper while writing the thesis or report. And dimension of the report, here you can see 290 millimeter into 205 millimeter. And also it's a standard A4 size, you can use 297 into 210 for preparing the copies. Page margins, you can see top page how much you have to keep, bottom how much it should be, and left side, right side. So if you follow the particular dimension, your project report will look very good. And also the paper, you have to use the report thesis should be prepared in good quality paper, and it should not be lower than 80 GSM. And also tables and figures should conform to the margin specifications. It should be present within the margins. And if you have a large size figure, means you can reduce it. It should be reduced photographically. So you can keep the picture within the appropriate margins. And let us see about the manuscript preparation. The font you have to use is Times New Roman, size is 13, and it should be followed in the while you are preparing for your entire report or thesis. And the headings of all items, that is, you can see from 2 to 10. What is the 2 to 10? From bona fide to appendixes. Okay, from bona fide to appendixes, it should be typed in capital letters. Okay, that is the head. You can see the headings of all items 2 to 10 in section 4. of all items 2 to 10 in section 4. That is from bona fide to, I will show one more time, from bona fide to appendixes. Okay. From bona fide to appendices, it should be typed in capital letters without punctuation and centered 50 millimeter below the top of the page. So you are going to use the margin 30 to 35 millimeter, and you have to keep the headings 50 millimeter below the top of page. So you can arrange it accordingly. From the top you have to do 50 millimeter, not from 30 or 35. From the top you have to take 50 millimeter, and you can keep the headings there. The text should commence 4 spaces below this heading. After that you can add your text. For example, if you are going to write introduction, means below 50 millimeter you can keep the heading introduction. Then you have to give 4 spaces. Then you can start writing your introduction. I think you got it. The cover page, later part we can discuss the cover page and title page. I have included some examples there. So first we can see the bona fide certificate. It should be in 1.5 and or double 1.5 and double spacing. That is the format I will show at that time, you can understand. And the certificate should carry the supervisor's signature, academic designation, and not any other responsibilities of administrative nature. Okay, academic designation means maybe an assistant professor or associate professor or professor. That designation you can write it, but not any other responsibility the particular staff is having in their own colleges. Okay, and department, the full address of the institution where the supervisor has guided, and if there is a joint supervisor you can mention that also, in that is an exceptional case, and then you have to mention the HOD also. Then abstract, it's nothing but your complete project within a page. That's an abstract. So it should be an essay type of narration, not exceeding 2 pages. Okay, within 2 pages you have to finish your complete report outlining the research problem, methodology using for tracking it, and summary of the findings. That's very important. Summary of the findings you have to write, and it should be typed in double line spacing. The abstract should be in that is Times New Roman, font size 13 you can use, but it should be typed in double line spacing. The line spacing is 2. Okay, so that is the condition followed for abstract. Next we can see for acknowledgement. Acknowledgement, that is for all you are going to thank, you can write it, but it should be a brief one, and it should not exceed 1 page. 1 page is only allowed for acknowledgement. And also here double spacing you have to use. Student signature should be made at the right bottom. Okay, so after you are finishing your acknowledgement, at the right side bottom you have to put your signature. You have to type your name and then you have to put your signature. So that is acknowledgement. Then table of content. Table of content, it starts from the that is you can see the title page, bona fide certificate, and acknowledgement. There's no place in table of content. That is in the table of content. No need to keep this bona fide certificate, acknowledgement, and also title page. But remaining part you have to keep from abstract. That is from abstract you have to keep all the things. What are the things you are going to keep in the project report, or how you have kept in your project report? Everything should be covered in the table of content. And that is for abstract, acknowledgement. Sorry, acknowledgement, abstract, then list of table, list of figure, everything you will be given a page number in lowercase Roman letter. So that also has to be included in the table of content. Okay, and line spacing you have to use here is 1.5 spacing. Okay, then list of table you can see. List of table, the list should use exactly the same captions as they appear above the tables. That is while you are giving a table name, the exact table name should be given in the list of tables also. Here also 1.5 line spacing should be used. The list of figure is also same as the list of table. Exact caption has to be given. List of symbols, abbreviations, or nomenclature. Here you have to follow 1.5 line spacing, and also you can use the standard symbols like if you are using degree in your report, you can expand the degree here. So Celsius, you will be using only C in your report, but you should give the expansion in the list of symbols, abbreviations, and nomenclature part. So that part is included in this list of symbols, abbreviations, and nomenclature. Then chapter. For phase 1 report, you should add introduction, and chapter 2 is literature review. Chapter 3, you can see the materials and methods, that is theoretical background, concepts, methodology, design, modeling, etc. will be coming under chapter 3. And other chapters may include your project implementation, results and discussion, conclusion, conclusion and work schedule for phase 2. That is, you're writing phase 1, it should be the continuation for the phase 2. So you have to give the work schedule for phase 2, that is future work you have to mention in your phase 1 report. And appendixes, if you have any appendices, that can also be included, and references. These are all the things coming under phase 1 report. Phase 2 thesis, you can see chapter 1 is introduction. As you know, chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 literature review, chapter 3 theoretical background, concepts, methodology, design, modeling, the etc. part, that is only a little amount will be added in your phase 1 report. So the next part can be added here, theoretical background, that is materials and methodology. And then other chapters the same, results, design, simulations, so etc. can be added here, and conclusion. Then here you have to add scope for future work. That is how your work can influence the society, or how your work can be applied in a society, or what are the significance, and so some of the parts can be added for in the phase 2 thesis. And if you have any appendices, that can be added, references. And here the main text, it have several chapters. That is, you can add any number of chapters, and each chapter should be divided into several subdivisions and divisions. Okay, so every chapter should have an appropriate title. Any number of chapters you can add, but all the chapters should have an appropriate title, and also tables and figures should be placed appropriately, that it's to immediate vicinity of the reference where they are cited. That is, if you are going to explain some of the methodology with the table, below that you should place the table. We should not place the tables and figures after all the written matter over. So accordingly you have to keep. It should be in a readable manner. And footnotes can be used sparingly. It also should be typed single space, placed directly underneath the very same page. If you are going to use footnotes, it should be kept under the same page where refers to the material they annotate. So in which page you have to annotate, and the very directly underneath you should keep the footnotes. Appendixes. That is, if anything interrupts the flow of your report, that can be kept as appendixes. Okay, so appendices are provided to give supplementary information, which if included in the main text may serve as a distraction. Okay, if it serves as a distraction, you can keep the whole part separately in the last section. So that is appendices. Okay, appendices can be numbered using Arabic numerals, that is appendix 1, appendix 2, etc. It may have table references, references appearing in the appendices also should be numbered and referred to at appropriate places, just as in the case of chapters. What are the things you are doing in the while writing chapters has to be followed writing in appendices also. And also appendices shall carry the title of the work reported, and same title shall be made in the content page also. You have to give the same title in the content also. And also the publications, the publications made by the particular student during the research work has to be mentioned in the appendix page. It should be reported in the content page also. So you can see here during the period of research, if the student made any publication, it should be brought in appendix titled as list of publications. The heading you have to give is list of publications, and the same shall be reported in the table of contents. The author can refer the publications mentioned in the appendix in the text of the report thesis by mentioning his or her name followed by appendix number, okay, and the year of publication. So you can give your research publication at the very end of that is in the appendix page as list of publication, and also you can use your own publication as the reference, but you should mention the reference as appendix, okay, in your report, only in this report. Then list of references. Any works of other researchers, if you use directly or indirectly, it should be indicated at appropriate places, okay. So here examples of citation, that is during the period of research, if you are doing as I have mentioned in 6.9 while we are discussing about the appendixes, as I said, if the particular student has any publication, it can also be mentioned as reference, but it should be indicated in appendix only, okay. So it cannot be taken under references. That is only here explained here. The author's publications during the period of research should not be included in the references and can be separately mentioned as in 6.10. That is, as we have discussed here, you can keep the reference of your particular paper, that is the particular student's paper. Examples of citation is given. If you are taking a point from that is Shishya 1918, how you have to mention here. If it is two others, means you have to mention like and with and Jenkins and Walt. Within the bracket you can give the year of publication, and if it is more than two others, you should give it by et al. 1984. And if you have the same author's publication in the same author's publication in a year twice, that is two publications by the same author in the same year, so you can mention 1984 A, B, in that type you can mention. So the references has to be given capital letter, and also it should be kept 50 millimeter, as you know, 50 millimeter below the top, at the top, 50 millimeter below at the top of the page. References it should be typed in caps, and below you have to give 4 spaces. Then you can start writing the references. Typical examples are given here for writing references. For example, Ari Ponnamal, yes, you should have a dot, and Natarajan, yes, dot. Within the bracket, the year has to be mentioned, year of publication, and then comma. Then the title page has to be within the apostrophe. Then the journal name, then volume number, and page numbers. All the things has to be mentioned. Then tables and figures. So by the word table, you know, it's all tabulated, that is numerical data. So all other non-verbal materials means figures, like it may be photos or any other graph, anything may come under figures, okay. So if you are taking any figures or tables from some other sources, you should indicate the reference. And also in some cases you have to get the proper permission to publish the figure or table. It should also, if you are keeping photographs, it should be included as color print only. More than one photograph can be included in a page, and if you are using some samples of fabric, leather, etc., it should be eventually attached in a page, okay. So it should be attached in a particular page. Table and figures on half page or less in length, that is off of if the table is half in a one page and half in the next page, it should be avoided to the maximum. Okay, so these are the things coming under tables and figures. Typing, as you know, it should be we discussed in a manuscript preparation. Black color we have to follow. Then 1.5 line spacing, and font size 13 you have to use. And all the headings should be in a capital letter. Then headings, subheadings has to be used. Accordingly, you have to give number to the subheadings too. Single spacing can be used if it is a long table, very long table, and if it is a very long quotation, or in the case of footnotes and multi-line captions, references, there you can follow the single line spacing. So while writing references, you have to follow a single line spacing. Okay, and all quotation, that is it should be in an indentation being 15 millimeter from either margin. Okay, and double spacing should be used for typing the bona fide certificate, abstract and acknowledgement. Double spacing we are using in acknowledgement and abstract, and also in bona fide certificate. Okay. So here chapters, this thing as we discussed in the above part, every chapter should have the heading, subheadings, subdivisions. Everything should be properly numbered. If we are starting from introduction 1 means 1, 1.1, 1.1.1, 1.1.2, it may be 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.4.1. That letters, that numbering has to be followed. And page numbering, all the pages has to be numbered. Up to table of content, it is Roman. You have to follow lowercase Roman, and then Arabic numerals you can follow for keeping page numbers. Here, upper right hand corner, 20 millimeter from top. You have to place the page number at the upper right hand corner, 20 millimeter from top, with the last digit in line, the right hand margin. Okay. And the title page, cover page, no need to keep page numbers. You can see here table of content should be numbered in lowercase numerals. The title page will numbered as 1, but it should not be typed. Okay, the title page is lowercase Roman 1, but you should not mention the, that is it should be in a hidden manner. The page number 1, it should be a hidden manner. Okay, then 2, 3, 4, accordingly you can give the number. And numbering of chapters, divisions and subdivisions, this one as we discussed, that is number 1, 2, 3. That is if you are going to write a number 1 for introduction 1, then the next heading you can give 1.1, a subheading you can give 1.1.2, then 1.2, 1.3, then another else 1.3. You are having subheadings means 1.3.1, 1.3.2. that type you have to give the number. In the same way, for numbering of tables and figures has to follow. If you are having a table in the chapter 3, means the table you have to give number table 3.1. If the figure is in fourth chapter, you have to give the number figure 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. So that type of numbering you have to follow. Equations also has to be numbered. That also the same case. If the equation is coming under chapter 2, you have to give chapter 2.1, 2.2. Or if it is in the third chapter, 3.1, 3.2. So accordingly, you have to number the equations. And binding specification, thesis should be bound with using flexible cover of thick white art paper. The cover should be printed in black color, and the text for printing should be identical as prescribed for the title page. Okay, so now you can see the title page. You should have a title of report, font size 18, and line spacing you have to follow is 1.5. Below that you can keep phase 1 report, and then submitted by name of the candidate, in partial fulfillment for the award of degree of. So phase 1 report you have to use font size 14, next font size 14, but it should be italicized, submitted by italicized, that should be italicized. Then name of the candidate in font size 16. Then in partial fulfillment for the award of the degree of, that should be italicized, font size 14, line spacing 1.5, and Master of Engineering or Master of Technology in name of the program, particular program, whether it is biotechnology or is electronics, nanotechnology, or communication system, or thermal engineering, anything else. That particular program can be mentioned. Then name of the particular logo you have to keep. Then name of the division or center. That is the name of your college. Then department, you have to mention your department. Below that, you can keep this Anna University. That is, it should be kept like this. Anna University, Chennai. Okay. It should be kept below Anna University, Chennai, and font size 1.6. While keeping here, it's going to left, but it should be centralized one. Okay. Anna University, Chennai, month and year. You have to mention everything. Okay. So it will be, the title of the page will be in this manner. For example, here you can see this is the title, a thesis submitted by the person, particular student, and in partial fulfillment for the award of the degree of Master of Engineering in Environmental Engineering. Then you can see uh, the particular department, Anna University, Chennai. Okay, so these things has to be accomplished while writing your thesis. And this is the bona fide certificate. Here also you have to mention Anna University, Chennai, font style Times New Roman, so science 18, bona fide certificate. The sizes has to be mentioned here. Then the bona fide certificate written matter, that is certified that this report title of your report is a bona fide work of the name of the particular candidate along with the register number who carried out the work under my supervision, certified further that to the best of my knowledge the work reported herein does not form part of any other thesis or dissertation on the basis of which a degree or award was conferred on an earlier occasion on this or any other candidate. It should be signed by your HOD and also your supervisor with date. Okay. And for supervisor, you have to mention supervisor. The name of the supervisor you have to write here. Academic designation, maybe assistant professor or associate professor. Professor you have to mention here, and no other. That is no other designation given by the college has to be mentioned here. Only the academic designation has to be here, both for HOD and supervisor. Name of division or center means the name of department and name of your college. Here signature of HOD, name of HOD, professor, in which department, then your college name. That has to be mentioned here. Okay, so this is a list of that is a content page. Here you can see abstract starts from the page number 3. So what are the page numbers 1 and 2? 1 title page, 2 bona fide certificate, and from 3 you can start here. Abstract acknowledgement also you should not mention the page number here. Here list of tables, list of figure, list of symbols, abbreviations, introduction, review of literature, and next part accordingly you can add and finish your project report successfully. Okay, so these are all the things you have to follow while writing your MA M.Tech phase 1 report or phase 2 thesis. Hope you all understand from the video. If you like the video, kindly like, comment, share and subscribe the video. Thank you.